A few months ago, the online world and social media seemed to be filled with nothing but criticism and hatred toward Kylian Mbappé. It felt like everyone was against him. The talk was all the same. He's finished, he's past his prime, he's not the player he used to be. The online world, from YouTube to Twitter, was flooded with negativity, and the football experts couldn't stop chiming in, questioning the wisdom behind his decision to join his new club. The mainstream media didn't help either, constantly amplifying the doubt and negativity. They almost convinced the world that he was struggling, that he was slipping into irrelevance. It's like everyone had written him off. But let's take a moment and look at the numbers. Let's dig into the facts and really examine the situation before jumping to conclusions. Take Lautaro Martinez, for example. Just a few months ago, he was praised to the heavens for his form. Everyone was talking about his amazing performances and his potential Ballon d'Or hopes. Yet despite all that hype, he still ended the season with 21 goal contributions in 34 matches. A solid number, for sure, but still not mind-blowing. Now let's take a look at Kylian Mbappé. The man has been under so much scrutiny, with critics calling him a bad player, despite his stats speaking otherwise. He has racked up 27 goal contributions in just 36 matches, and still, people continue to call him a bad player? I don't think so. And while we're at it, let's talk about Rafinha. The Brazilian is in the form of his life, and many believe he's among the leading candidates for the Ballon d'Or in La Liga this season. He's scored 13 goals so far, while Mbappé has netted 17. Yes, there's a difference, but here's the catch. The expectations for Mbappé are so much higher. And honestly, that's not surprising given his stature in world football. He's one of the biggest stars on the planet, and with that comes pressure. With that comes hate. Mbappé has been in the public eye since he was just 16 years old. He's had the weight of the footballing world on his shoulders for years. And sure, there are always people who underestimate him just because of where he played for a few years, in the so-called Farmers League. But now, let's be clear, Mbappé is back, and he's more determined than ever. He's here to remind everyone that when the stakes are highest, he's the one who shines. Mbappé proved this once again in a massive way during Real Madrid's clash with Manchester City. The City fans, of course, had to throw their little jab in there. They welcomed Mbappé with a giant banner targeting Vinícius, with the words, "Stop crying," mocking his second-place finish in the Ballon d'Or voting. The game started, and from the get-go, it didn't look good for Madrid. City was all over them. But who else but Mbappé would step up in a situation like that? That equalizer was more than just a goal. It wasn't just the first strike in a comeback. That goal shifted the entire momentum of the game. Now, some would argue that Jude Bellingham and Brahim Diaz were the real heroes of the night, and I won't take anything away from them. They were fantastic. But there's something a lot of people missed. Mbappé's role in the match was essential. He wasn't just part of the team, he was the catalyst. His goal was the spark that reignited the team's spirit and helped them overturn a difficult situation. And then came the return leg. What happened there? Mbappé took the game into his own hands. Before some of you could even grab your popcorn for the second leg, he had already secured Real Madrid's progression with a brilliantly executed goal. It was a beautiful lob, perfectly timed. A few months ago, he might have been caught offside, but not now. This is a Mbappé who's in top form, who's back to his best. Then came his second goal, and oh boy, was it a beauty. His ball control was sublime. He glided through the City defense like it wasn't even there. Pep Guardiola, who's always calm and collected on the sideline, was left frantically trying to organize his defense. You could almost see Guardiola's frustration boiling over. It wasn't just a goal, it was a statement. And with his third and final goal in the match, Mbappé once again silenced all the critics. He shut down every argument that he's just about speed, or that he only scores the easy goals. This was a performance that proved to the world exactly what Mbappé is capable of. The haters? They had nothing to say after that. They couldn't deny it anymore. This wasn't some flash-in-the-pan performance. This was Kylian Mbappé, fully back to his best, shutting down anyone who dared to doubt him. And for those of you who were listening to all the negativity, who were only hearing the bad things all season, did you not notice the gradual improvement? This performance against Manchester City wasn't just a one-off. It was the culmination of a steady rise in form. Mbappé had been quietly regaining his confidence, slowly getting back into his rhythm, and then, bam! He exploded back onto the scene with this hat trick. But here's the kicker. This wasn't his first hat trick of the season. No. His first hat trick came back in January against Atletico Madrid. That performance was the real marker that Mbappé was back, that he was starting to hit his stride, once again. Even though it wasn't as widely covered in the media as it should have been, Mbappé was quietly leading Real Madrid toward the final stages of the Champions League. People were so fixated on the big wins like the one against Liverpool that they failed to notice how critical Mbappé's performances were in securing the points needed to progress through the tournament. In fact, some of his most important moments went unnoticed by the wider public. His decisive performances against teams like Atalanta, Salzburg, and Brest were integral in Real Madrid's success. But people didn't talk about that. They were too focused on the big, flashy moments. They didn't realize that it was Mbappé's consistency and work behind the scenes that was really helping to push Real Madrid into the knockout stages. One of the key factors behind Mbappé's return to form was the tactical adjustments made by his coach, Carlo Ancelotti. At the beginning of the season, Ancelotti used the 4-3-3 formation, but as we all remember, Madrid's attack was struggling. The left side of the pitch was too crowded, as both Mbappé and Vinícius excel when they play on the left wing. It created a bottleneck that made it difficult for them to play at their best. Neither Mbappé nor Vinícius felt comfortable with the role of a traditional number 9. It just didn't work. So, Ancelotti switched things up. He shifted to a 4-2-3-1 formation that allowed Mbappé to play further forward as a central striker. This change gave Mbappé more freedom to roam and adapt to the flow of the game. It also allowed Vinícius to be more effective on the left, where he could operate freely without having to worry about overlapping with Mbappé. This tactical change has worked wonders. Now, instead of clashing with each other on the pitch, Mbappé and Vinícius complement each other perfectly. Their chemistry is growing, and it's starting to look like a partnership that could dominate for years to come. Mbappé's confidence in front of goal has returned. His touch, his finishing, his positioning, all of it is back to its best. He no longer makes the unnecessary offside mistakes that plagued him earlier in the season. In fact, I can almost guarantee that Mbappé will never come close to the 8 offside calls he had against Barcelona earlier in the season. This is a man who's completely in control of his game now. It's amazing how much a little bit of confidence can change everything. And let's be clear, Mbappé has always been world-class. The dip in form he had earlier in the season was never about a lack of talent. It was about confidence and the pressure of adjusting to a new club, new expectations, and a new system. But now the pressure is gone. He's found his rhythm again. He's confident. He's comfortable. He's back to his best. It's clear that Mbappé is adapting more and more to his new environment at Real Madrid. He's no longer the player who was struggling to find his footing earlier in the season. He's now a key part of the team. His chemistry with his teammates has improved, his understanding of the tactics has grown, and his confidence is soaring. Even Carlo Ancelotti has acknowledged how much more comfortable Mbappé is now. He's adapting to the tactics, the team, and the demands of Real Madrid. And it's clear that he's only going to get better from here. The only thing left for Mbappé now is to keep pushing forward. If he continues this form, there's no doubt he'll be in contention for the Ballon d'Or sooner rather than later. And who knows? At the end of this season, we could very well See Mbappé holding that trophy that so many thought he should have won a long time ago. But for now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just remember one thing. Mbappé is back, and he's ready to show the world exactly what he's capable of. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.